Welcome, everybody, to another exciting episode of Multiplayer, the podcast by gamers for gamers. I am your host, Zach Matscanis, alongside the closet boy himself, Javier Ortiz.
Yeah, it's got to change up the location today because I have a tiny apartment, and the other space is being used right now by my lovely wife, who is working. So maybe someday we'll get a 2-bedroom apartment. That way I have an extra room to do things. But until then, I'll use the closet.
Or just like a dope studio or something.
Well, I mean, that's the dream. But
that's the dream, baby.
I think in general it'd still be nice to have an extra bedroom, though.
Yeah, that would be nice. But, we appreciate your dedication. And, I know you're just hiding away in the closet to record this. So, me and the viewers and listeners, thank you for your service, sir.
Hey, man, that's
you.
what I'm here for.
Remember, everybody, that Multiplayer is all over the place, in your ears and in your face. You can find us at podcast services everywhere. Pick a podcast service, the old iTunes or Google Play or whatever all that nonsense is. Find us. We're there. Multiplayer. Don't forget that ED on the end. And of course, you can find us at YouTube at youtube.com/multiplayer, where you can see Hav sitting in a closet, kind of in the dark.
Well,
sort of.
I mean, you can't tell that I'm in a closet because right now you just see the Breath of the Wild background. So, yes, I'm a little dark, but besides that, it's Breath of the Wild, baby.
Oh yeah, is like next to you is just like a bunch of clothes you're like pushing out of the way.
Yeah,
and stuff.
Honestly, if I were to turn off the Magic Breath of the Wild background, you would see like some of my pants coming into frame. I think if I move my arms slightly, you can see like hangers in the background, but I'm gonna try and stay still, so all you see is Breath of the Wild.
Very nice. And of course, you can find us over at Patreon, patreon.com/multiplayer, where you can, if you like what we do, throw us like $1 or $2 a month. You can help Hav pay for a second bedroom to record.
LA's expensive.
It's very expensive. What were we thinking, Hav?
Oh, I know.
Why are we here?
We just need to move to like Montana.
I know. Just go to like South Dakota, middle of nowhere, and record.
Oh, we could get like a 5-bedroom house probably for how much I pay rent.
I know, right? It'd be crazy. So if you live in South Dakota, let us know. If you got like a place for rent,
yeah, honestly,
we might be looking to move. But yeah, man, Hav, it's been a minute since we've recorded.
Yeah, you've been out and about all over the place.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say we've both been busy boys, real busy boys between work and, travel. I did a bunch of traveling for about a month, pretty much all of July. I was just gone. So I was trying to find some time for us to record, and it just it didn't work out. So apologies. We've been off the air for so long. I don't want to speak for both of us, but, I love doing this show, and like, when we miss a week or 2 weeks or however long, it starts to like dig a little hole in my heart. Like I get sad.
The worst part is that as I've gotten a little older, I've come to realize it's harder to find people that really like to play and talk video games, because usually those people I can only find on like my PSN account, because those are the people I play online with. But like in person, it's really hard to find people who like to talk about games and really admire the medium, as much as we do.
Yeah, and it's something, for me personally, where, just as a grown adult, even though I'm kind of a child at heart, it's hard to find time to just hang out with people in general. So a lot of times you got to kind of turn hangout time into work time as well.
Yeah,
so this is like a hangout time / work time, and I'm okay with it. If I could just do this forever, I would. This is
absolutely. You kidding me?
Yeah. So this is great. But yeah, so anyways, just wanted to kind of start the show with a little bit of just a catch up. It's been a minute now since we've gotten together and been able to just talk about games and what's going on. Obviously, there's been a lot going on last few weeks that we've been busy boys. So yeah. First off, before we get into like news and all that fun stuff, I just want to see like, what's up, dude? You know, how's it going? Have you been playing stuff? You know, how's life? And both personal and video game related.
uh, I mean, everything's good. I mean, I can't complain right now. I'm gonna dive right into video game stuff because personal
That's
life is
okay.
whatever. I mean,
Nobody wants to talk
I'm
about personal life
alive
anymore.
and I'm fine. Like, I don't know what else I can say. But honestly, I have I this probably shouldn't come to a surprise, but like I've gotten really into Overwatch again. Like I feel like every other month, it's like I do a month where I'm like, oh, Overwatch, and then the next month I'm like, okay, let me play other stuff. And like this past month, I've been really into it because of the Overwatch League is back on,
Mm-hmm.
and Philadelphia Fusion just won their last two games,
Woo!
and it's pretty awesome. And they beat the Shanghai Dragons, which are like the best team in the league, or at least definitely one of the top like three, I'd say. And then Fusion beat them, which I was super happy about. And it's just fun to watch the league because you get to see like the most updated meta, like what the pros are doing, and just trying to replicate that when you play it's really fun. Yeah. And seeing the different strategies of how like different compositions work. Like some teams are running like Zarya and Wrecking Ball, which is like, whoa, it's such a weird combination, but like it makes sense. Like when you see them play, it just makes a lot of sense the way they play the game. So I've been really going back hard into Overwatch, just trying to, I'm not trying to be pro or anything like that, but like just trying to replicate what you see when you watch the game. I mean, just like any sport, really. Like, you watch a basketball game, you're like, man, I want to play basketball now and do what they do. It's the same thing, right? So I'm watching a lot of the Overwatch League and just playing it on my downtime. Plus, like when you watch, you get to connect to your Blizzard account. You get some Overwatch League tokens, so you can buy some of those dope limited edition skins when they come out.
Oh,
so very excited. I bought the Anna one when that one came out like a couple months ago. It's like an Egyptian god theme. It's really cool. But yeah, I've been diving deep back into it. And I love it just so much. It really just stands up against the test of time. Like it's just so. That's why I'm not an FPS guy at all. But that's why it's the only FPS game I really play, or like online shooter. Just because to me it's the most balanced and the most fun. It's every character's different. It's just a great time.
Yeah, and what's funny is I've actually have jumped back into Overwatch a lot lately as well.
Ooh.
It's one of those things where it's like, when you get super busy, sometimes it's tough to like dive into an 80-hour like brand new game or something. But Overwatch is a great like kind of junk food game where it's like you can just go in, you can play a few rounds. Like sometimes I'm literally sending emails while playing. It's one of those games where it's like I know that game like the back of my hand now, and it's just like a good comfort food game.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah, so I've actually been playing a lot of Overwatch as well, and I am going pro. I don't know if you've heard, but
nice.
No, but it's been great to kind of jump back into that, and man, that game really does just hold up.
Yeah, it really does.
Not to toot Overwatch's horn too much, but I mean, it's almost like a near perfect game in my opinion.
Yeah, honestly, and I hate to talk it up so much because of recent Blizzard news, but like,
that's very true. Yeah.
It is genuinely a good game. I'm sorry to admit, but it's just it is really good.
Yeah. The the Activision Blizzard news as of late, like the harassment claims and stuff coming out, that's some crazy stuff.
Yeah.
I definitely I feel for like the the people out there that are kind of dealing with all of that going down. I hope not just Activision Blizzard, but pretty much every company out there can just like stop.
Yeah,
honestly, stop being jerks,
especially in the entertainment industry. It's just so
it's awful.
Ugh, so nasty.
Yeah, it's a good way to put it. It's nasty.
Yeah,
it's people just it's just people taking advantage of other people, and it's unfortunate.
Yeah.
And that's something that it's definitely in the news. It's the kind of thing. I don't know if we're the right people to talk too much on that topic.
I mean,
but I definitely feel for the people out there that's suffering.
Yeah, we don't really need to dive too much into it. It's a horrible thing, and I feel really bad for everybody, and I hope there is justice.
Yeah, for sure, man. But yeah, cool. Have you been playing anything other than Overwatch?
I don't think so. I beat last time we were talking, I think I was playing God of War. I kind of finished. I finished through that. I kind of want to play through it again on New Game Plus on like the God of War mode, like the hardest difficulty.
Yeah.
I've done it before, but I might wait off on doing that for now, just because like, I've been pretty busy with work, so it's like Overwatch is like the perfect game to be playing right now for me.
Exactly. Yeah, it's a great junk food game.
Yeah,
hop in, hop out, and you're done.
Pretty much.
Although I got a story to tell. It's one of my adventures I've been on for the past like week. It's the my quest for no latency. I've been having weird latency issues as of late, and I haven't been able to figure out what has been going on. I was playing Overwatch one day, and I noticed I was just getting like really bad input latency. Like I would hit a button, and then the thing would happen a good second later.
Right.
And as you know, it's like with latency like that, you can't play. You're just gonna get stomped.
Yeah.
And man, I spent a solid week trying to figure out what the heck was going on, and I felt like it was happening in other games as well that were offline, but I felt like it was happening the most with Overwatch, and I was just like, what the hell is happening? And man, I got a new router on a plane in Wi-Fi mode. No, playing on PS5, and yeah, I couldn't figure out what was going on. I got a new router, didn't fix it, so I got another new router, didn't fix it all the way.
Oof.
I tried to, I called Spectrum like 100 times, bugging them like, I don't know what to do. I can't fix this. Like I was having them like reset my stuff from their side, and oh, what an adventure. What I found out, it was actually my TV, even though all my settings are right and like nothing changed. That's the ridiculous thing about all this. It's like nothing has changed in the past week that would make this do this, but something funny's just going on with my TV, where I discovered if I just if I turn on the PS5, go into Overwatch and then unplug the TV and wait 10 seconds to plug it back in, all the latency's gone.
That's
it's
weird.
The weirdest thing.
That's really weird.
Just like, I'm like, come on, TV, are you serious right now? So I bought a new TV.
Oh, nice. Nice.
It's because the TV's also been doing this other funny thing where every once in a while, just at random, it'll just cut out. And if you're playing a video game, that's like no bueno. It's like
what kind of TV
so I'm like,
was
all right.
that?
It's a TCL. And it's one of those TCLs with like really great reviews. I mean, it's been a good TV for the past few years that I've had it, but it's just doing something funny that if you're just watching like Hulu or whatever on it, you're gonna be fine. But if you're playing video games,
Right.
It's like
Not fine.
you start run. Yeah, you run into major issues. So I'm just gonna probably stick that TV in Jerry's office, and I got basically the updated version of that LG CX OLED. I think it's the
Nice.
The LG U1 or something like that. It's like the 2021 version of that LG CX that everybody loved.
Very nice.
So
OLEDs,
yeah, I got a good
baby.
deal on it. Yeah, OLED baby. So I'm about to live that OLED life.
Nice.
And I have a feeling I'll be more than fine on that TV.
Oh yeah. Ever since I got that, I got an OLED for myself. Like when my last TV died on me, man, it is just fantastic. Like the quality is like night and day. Like you thought it was good before. It's like once you get that nice screen, it's like oof, so crisp.
Yeah, and this new version of the LG, it has like a few of the HDMI 2.1 ports, and it's
Ooh.
I think the CX is the same way, but it has the 120 hertz screen and like all the bells and whistles like you kind of need or want.
Very nice.
At the very least for gaming. So that'll be fun. That comes Thursday. Pop that baby in. I'll throw my other one right in the trash.
Very nice.
No, I'm just kidding. But yeah. So that's been. I've been playing the game of technical difficulties.
That's nice. I was gonna say I was just gonna blame it all on Spectrum because they stink.
They do. They're pretty bad.
Yeah.
I tried to get because they have like 1 gig internet now, and I was like, maybe that'll fix my problem. So I asked them for the 1 gig internet, and they're like, there's a $200 activation fee. And I was like, what? you I'm the one hooking up the stuff. It's
it
like,
cost
what
me
do
$200 to flip this switch. Are you sure you want me to do it?
100%. And even the like several people at Spectrum I've talked to about it, they're all like, yeah, I know it's so steep. I really wish they would come down on that price. It's like, yeah, I would happily pay you guys more money a month for this service, but I'm not paying you a $200 service fee. That's absolutely outrageous.
So I'm so happy that like AT&T fiber is available where I live. It's just like, man, I can't imagine going back to anything else.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. I'm in this like weird zone where just Spectrum has just, I mean, nothing else can be here.
It's so weird about ISPs how like they monopolize like certain areas. And it's like nothing's available. I never understood how that's possible.
Yeah, it's just paying for I guess certain zoning rights or whatever, and it's just sucks.
Yeah.
But is what it is. Internet's fixed. It's actually faster than ever now because I got a new updated router.
Very nice.
To try and fix my issue. Because I think it was like a double whammy with Overwatch, where I think I was just getting some weird latency anyways because my modem was getting real old. Plus my TV was like acting real funny. So it's like, I finally got to the bottom of it.
Double jeopardy.
But goodness, what an issue I've had with all that though. It's been crazy. But I've also I was playing the 2016 Ratchet and Clank. I finally gave it a shot.
I love that game.
Didn't click with me.
Yeah, it's because you don't like good games.
This
was also the last time you said you don't like Bloodborne. I don't want to hear it, dude. I don't want to hear it. You don't like Bloodborne. You don't like Ratchet and Clank. It's like, what do you? Oh, I'm sorry. You like what do you like? Dishonored. Whatever.
I love Dishonored. I think I just don't like slow games where your character's just walking slow. Like Ratchet and Clank, I feel like Ratchet walks so slow. Like I need like a dash mechanic. I need I need some stuff to move fast. I gotta go fast, baby.
Well, you have like a jumping ability that lets you jump like far distance. So that kind of speeds up your movement.
In the 2016 version.
Yeah. It's meant for like crossing like a wide distance on like between platforms. So I mean, I'm not sure when exactly you get it or if it's something from the get go, but it's definitely a thing.
Yeah, I don't know. I played for a couple hours and I was just like, man, I'm just walking so slow. Like,
yeah, but
I don't know.
But the great thing about Ratchet and Clank that is so good is the writing because it's so clever and really
I'll
funny.
say that like. I was really enjoying the characters and the writing, and it felt like I was kind of playing a Pixar movie, but I think I got spoiled by Returnal because Returnal's like a very hardcore like mature version of of Ratchet and Clank, where it's just like you have like all these crazy guns and all this stuff on screen shooting at you, but I don't know. It just felt so simple in Ratchet and Clank, and like Returnal. I mean, that game is so freaking hard. But I mean, you're dashing around like you're basically just always on the move, and you're running super fast. And it's like I wish I could go that speed in Ratchet and Clank.
I think
I liked everything else about it.
I think the main difference, like Ratchet and Clank, I think that kind of game, it's all about causing as much mayhem where you're at. Like it's all about like, look at all these enemies, just blow them up with whatever you have, which is a ton of different weapons.
Yeah, so I might go back and give it another couple hours and see if it clicks. Maybe I can get that little dash move. Maybe that'll help. But I mean, yeah, I mean the writing and stuff was a lot of fun. I liked the characters and what was going on. It's just the minute to minute gameplay, which was like it wasn't clicking for me. But I could see where people like enjoy that game. I can understand the appeal.
Yeah, I mean, it
wasn't
really
clicking for
is
me at
like
the time.
the old Insomniac formula, just kind of dialed up.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, so that's basically what I've been playing for the most part. Just that and Overwatch and talking to Spectrum.
Fun times.
Oh yeah. But yeah, so I wanted to kind of jump into some news from the past couple weeks. Just a couple interesting things I wanted to kind of talk about that we didn't get a chance to, but I'm pretty excited about. First up is the Steam Deck. I should have said the first on deck. Newswise, is the Steam Deck, but I screwed it up.
That's fine.
I'm a bad host. It's been weeks. I'm rusty. Dang it. But yeah. So the Steam Deck, which is Steam's new basically Switch, like their Switch Pro,
yeah,
for lack of a better word, is coming out this winter. They had pre-orders that went up and whatnot, and it seems like a pretty big challenger to the handheld market and kind of that Switch market. I wanted to kind of get your take on it, and if it's something that you feel like you might pick up, or if it's something you'll kind of take a wait and see approach, or if you even care about it.
No.
I'd love to get your thoughts.
I'm looking at pictures of it just because I wanted to get another good look at it. It's weird, right? When they first announced it, I was like, I mean, it's a portable PC, right? That's basically what it is, portable PC, which is cool. Oddly enough, the one thing I love about it, which I think some people might not like, is how chunky it is, and it reminds me of like the Game Gear, of the the Nomad. Like it takes me back to like 90s chunky tech, where like back then laptops were just thick chunky things. Any type of portable device was just a big chunky block that you kept on you.
It's all chunky.
Yeah, it is, and I love that about it. I don't know why. A lot of people nowadays, they want sleek, they want light. It makes sense. Technology gets smaller. I get it, but looking at that just makes me think of a different era of technology where things are just bigger and brickier, and that there is an aspect to that I absolutely love. And I really can't explain it. Maybe it's just nostalgia. I don't know.
No, I haven't heard anybody say that, but just thinking about that, it's like that makes total sense to me as well. I used to love my Sega Nomad, that big chunky boy.
And, the Game Gear was another thing with big chunky thing.
Yeah, big chunky boy, and things like the Switch. It's too small in my hands, and so I always get like some nice fat cases for them.
Right.
I did the same thing with like my DSs and stuff. Like, I don't know if you remember those big Nerf cases.
Oh yeah.
Those things are terrific back in the day. So I would have those on my DSs.
Mm-hmm. Even the original Game Boy, which was thick, they made those peripherals for it that made it like bigger for you to hold super comfortably.
It was like the wing clamp or whatever it's called.
Yeah, it was super weird looking. It just made it even bigger. But like, that is one thing that I immediately thought of, and I just love that about it. Now in terms of like, specs and performance and like what it's capable of, I get it, and I think it's great. My only issue is I don't really see it selling well. Like, to me, this is, it's obviously like, it's their answer to the Switch, right? And the Switch is like, it only has so many games on it, and which is a lot, but it still only has so many, and it doesn't run everything super well, right? So like games like Witcher, Skyrim, like they're not going to look their best on the Switch. However, on the Steam Deck, it's going to be the optimal way to play it if you were to play it handheld.
Yeah.
The only issue is that like, the Nintendo Switch already has a built-in audience of like, what, 30 million like however many Switches have been sold, which is a lot.
Oh yeah.
and and if we're talking like a mainstream type of audience, like I'll use my sister for example, who has two kids, and it's like two boys who are like 7 years old, right? You know, she's gonna look at a Nintendo Switch, and then she'll be like, a Steam Deck, a what? I'll just get a
Yeah.
Nintendo. Like it just, I'll just get the Nintendo for my kids because that makes sense, right? It's just ingrained
Yeah.
in people's minds. Um, Now, so I think I don't necessarily see it selling well because it's also really expensive, which makes sense because
Yeah.
it's a pretty powerful device. But once you improve that memory, I think the most expensive model is like over $600, and that's
Yeah, so
for
the prices are $399, $529, and $649,
yeah,
and the big differences are, the because it's like the same processors and all that. It's basically the storage is
yeah.
kind of where
The
the
SSD
big
storage goes from like
yeah
64 to like 500 or something.
yeah
Yeah, so it's like, I don't really see that selling too much, or at least the most expensive model I don't really see selling well. Plus, can you upgrade the storage? Because it's not a flash, it's not an SD card, right?
So they have a micro SD expansion slot,
Oh, okay,
so you can add additional storage. So
okay,
um, yeah, so for instance, like if you got the 256 gig model, which is kind of like if I were to pick one up, it would probably be that one. And then just get like a really like a 1 terabyte like micro SD.
yeah.
On like
You got
a
a good amount
Black
of
Friday
space.
sale. Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, so that's something where, yeah, it really is just it kind of comes down to storage, and then the $400 version also is a slightly slower SSD, so things won't go
Right.
as
Yeah.
fast.
So they,
So
they really want you to get the $500 or more version.
yeah, pretty much.
Um,
But I mean, it's still pretty impressive at $400. I mean, if you compare that, price point to like I want to call it the Switch Pro, but it's not. But the Switch
the
OLED
OLED, yeah,
model, at 350, then you could start to really
yeah,
like, well, I already have 400 games in my Steam library. I was gonna buy a Switch OLED at 350. 50 more bucks, I could just get this. I'm not a big Zelda fan, not a big Mario fan. I would rather have the bigger library. Then it starts to sound kind of appealing, but I do agree that I think it's kind of a niche piece of equipment. It's something that I feel like Valve every once in a while they'll come up with an idea for like hardware. They've done like they had the Steam controller, they had the with the Steam box.
oh yeah, I forgot about that thing.
Right? That I feel like 4 years ago that was huge. It was something where it was like really in the news. You were hearing a bunch at like E3 and stuff. Maybe it was even sooner than that, like 3 years ago. But everybody's like, oh man, Steam box, that's going to be like the next thing, for PC gaming. But it just kind of fell flat.
Yeah,
But it looks like they've taken a lot of their lessons from some of the other hardware they've manufactured and have put a lot of that into this Steam Deck. So it's interesting. It's something that I feel like they'll definitely start off small and slow with manufacturing. I
right.
think the real big Steam gamers out there might be excited for this as something they can kind of take their libraries on the go. But yeah, people like your sister or like my sister or anybody's sister, they're just I don't think it has that broad appeal yet, but it could be a couple years down the line, maybe that changes. There might be
Yeah,
this you might have this world in 2 years from now where maybe the world starts to open back up, people are traveling a lot more again, and people start to look at a system to travel with, and it's like, well, I could take, or I could buy a Switch 2 or whatever, or I could buy like the Steam Deck 2. It's a $50 difference. I'll pick up the Steam Deck, or like
right.
even a if you're a streamer and you're traveling, maybe that's and you're like a PC streamer, that might be like
Does
a
it have Does it have Bluetooth? I'm assuming it has Bluetooth capability.
yeah.
So you can hook
Yeah,
up
it's
an
got
external
Bluetooth.
controller.
Yeah,
Yeah.
external controllers. You can hook up
Yeah.
a mouse and keyboard. They're working on a little docking station for it right now. But yeah, they've said you can buy any cheapo dock off of Amazon and it'll work. Like like a $10 dock and you're good to go. So it's got a lot going for it.
That's
so
true. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, when it comes to that aspect, because then it's like, well, if you don't want to try and get a big old PC rig or try and customize it, because those are getting really expensive nowadays to build one. You get this nice little model, a cheapy little dock, and then you've got your basically a gaming PC machine that you can just hook up to your TV, and then you have access to your Steam library. And I think, well, I mean, if it's, I'm assuming Game Pass would work on it, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that's what basically everybody's sort of been talking about, where it's like, so right now this runs Linux, a Linux operating system, but Valve has said that it's an open platform, so you can basically put
Windows stuff, right?
Windows on there. So you could you could install Windows, you could run Game Pass on there, the Xbox Game Store, all that fun stuff. Like, so like potentially you could be playing the next Gears of War, like Halo, as like a mobile game, which is that's when it starts to get appealing, for a lot of people.
True. And it's cool because I wonder, like, something like that with that type of operating system, I'm sure like the much smarter people than me will be able to like figure out how to make the most out of this machine and like
100%.
Not necessarily mod it, but like, man, you can add, like, there are so many layers that you can add to this thing because it's basically a little computer.
I mean, modding, I think absolutely. I mean, just what people have done with the Switch is crazy.
Yeah,
I mean,
I meant like physical modding it, like opening up the guts and like changing stuff.
Sure.
But like, I know that I know like in terms of like, modding, in terms of gaming, absolutely we'll be able to.
Yeah, it's like, imagine. I mean, this is basically like an open source handheld that this could take the place of like the PSP or the Vita, where that was like an emulator machine, where it's just like you could put.
And that's the I didn't even think, but you're right. Like, if somebody has backed up like their GameCube library or their N64 library to their computer, all they need to do is download an emulator, and now you can play all your old Nintendo games on the go. That's actually really smart.
Yeah, so imagine like, now you can play, Mario 64 and Ocarina of Time. You can play, you can play any emulated game you want. You can get the entire Game Gear catalog if you wanted.
God.
You could get, what like.
Yeah, you can play that. You take Melee on the go. That's awesome.
Yeah, exactly. So, it has some interesting appeal to it. Like I said, I think we're in agreement though that it's definitely not a mainstream thing, but I could see 6 months from now scrolling through Instagram and seeing people with like, crazy mods and emulations on these things. Like, they're just playing all sorts of nonsense on those machines.
See, I wonder if
it could be rad,
man. So, it'd be really, because like we're reaching a weird conflicting point in our time with technology, right? And what I mean by that is, like, we have stuff like the Switch and now the Steam Deck, and then previously it was like the Vita, and we also have our cell phones, and they both are capable of doing so much. However, the biggest difference is that your phone can be used as a phone and as an internet device, and your gaming portable device can be used as an internet device and a gaming device, but not a phone, right? So like, imagine if you had your Steam Deck and you could use like Google, like the Google calling. I forget what it's called.
I think it's Google Call.
Is it called Google Call? Yeah.
No, I don't think it's called.
Well,
that.
If it's called whatever it's called, right? Like, imagine like you can somehow have your Steam Deck instead of your phone. Where you
Google Duo, by the way.
Google Duo.
Is the name.
So what? Yeah. So what if you didn't need a phone anymore and you could just have your Steam Deck, because you could still use any type of. I'm assuming you can do lots of different messaging software.
Yeah. I mean, it's a computer, so you can just put anything on it.
Yeah, exactly.
The problem is data, like a data service.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're hooked up to Wi-Fi, you don't necessarily need that. And I'm talking about theoretically, like down the line, it's like, when are these things going to combine? Because honestly, if it were up to me, I would love to be able to get rid of my phone and have like the Steam Deck that I could just carry in my backpack and have a pair of Bluetooth headphones so that if someone calls me, I can just pick it up and then I could just take it out. Like if I'm on the bus or on the train, I can just take it out and I can use it to message people or play games.
Yeah, dude, 100%. Like, I wish they made a Switch like the size of my iPhone where, you could basically slide the Joy-Cons right onto the side of it and you're good to go. Like, give me a Switch that's also a phone, and like, I just have one device and I'm like good to go.
Man, yeah, if that ever happens,
it would be amazing.
Like, I really hope we get to live to see that day, because that, like, the combination of the phone and the gaming device to me is like, that's when we're going to be in utopia.
Yeah. Do you remember Sony tried this with the Xperia? I think that's what it was.
Yeah.
And they made a PSP phone.
Yeah, I remember that, but I don't remember being all like used all that much, because I never had one, and I didn't know anybody that did.
Yeah, I don't think anybody did, but it's unfortunate, because that could have been something that was like really rad, but I think there was a discommunication between different parts of Sony, like the PlayStation team and like the people making phones.
Right.
So there was like a disconnect, but yeah, the Xperia Play, like I was hoping that was going to be dope, because it kind of had it all, it's like it was a phone, but also was a PSP. Like, that sounds rad. Like, I'm on board if it works. And it just didn't. I don't think it got the support that it needed, but maybe one day somebody will crack that code. Maybe.
Honestly,
I don't think it'll be Nintendo, because I think they're weird about the internet in general. But
I mean,
maybe somebody will do it
again. Like, outside of like phone plans, if you have Wi-Fi, like you can use Facebook Messenger to call people. Like you don't necessarily need. You just need an internet connection, and now that everywhere in the world basically has Wi-Fi, you kind of always do. So
yeah, for sure. So so we'll see, man. We'll see how the Steam Deck does, and all those dope emulations and stuff. We'll see what happens with all that in the very near future. It's coming out basically end of the year. But I want to move on. Another thing that kind of happened during our little break is the announcement of a Dead Space remake, just a full-on remake, which is pretty rad. For the people out there that don't remember Dead Space, shame on you, but it's a 2008 survival horror game on a spaceship or
spaceship,
ship in space.
I think it was like a mining colony or something.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, I bet there's some, Dead Space nerd out there like, well, actually, it's not a spaceship. It's just it's like it's a ship in space. But whatever, you nerd.
Whatever. The game's awesome.
Yeah, but yeah, you're running around this ship in space, and you're killing all sorts of crazy monsters.
Yeah, the necromorphs.
Necromorphs.
Yeah,
and. Things are screaming at you and like crawling on the walls, and you're shooting them with like saw blades and all sorts of nonsense. It's awesome.
Yeah, I like. I remember when I first played that game. Like when I first saw those things, like, oh, it's like got a foot out of its head and like all weird limbs. Oh god, they're so creepy looking. But
yeah, now
fantastic.
Imagine that in 4K, 60 frames,
I am all
HDR on an OLED screen.
I am,
3D audio. it's all coming at you.
Adaptive triggers and 3D
your
haptic feedback.
Triggers are adapted. Oh my god! And all the senses are attacked.
The
only thing. It's also gonna spray like a scent and flavor at your face, and you're like, ugh, get out of here. Ugh. Tastes like
4D
spaceships.
experience. And suddenly oxygen gets sucked out of your room like you're in space, and you got to figure out how to get it back. Because I think that was an objective in that game. There were parts where like you didn't have oxygen, you had to figure out how to like get it back into the room or something.
Dude, that's I don't like stuff like that. I could deal with aliens and killing stuff, but the minute like you're like running out of oxygen, that gets so stressful. I remember that in like the original Sonic the Hedgehog games. You're like underwater, dude. It's so stressful.
I know,
like,
especially the music
stressful.
that starts. Do, 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 do.
Oh, I hated it. It's like anxiety.
Yeah, it really is.
Anxiety driven.
And you move like in slow motion, which is even worse.
Yeah. Awful. Screw you, Sonic the Hedgehog. Forgive me, child anxiety. But yeah, man. So I think we're in the same boat, or ship. that
spaceship.
Yeah, we're spaceship that we're excited for Dead Space. And
oh, absolutely! You kidding me? Like
that might.
That is a game that I've waited. Like I was so upset, like after the whole EA thing, and when they acquire companies and they just kind of disband them, like because I love like Dead Space 1. It's just one of my favorite like horror games because it's just so unique and so great. And the art style is really interesting, and like it's just a really good looking game and just really fun to play through. So I'm super happy about this. Like I love, and I they talked about it when the game came out originally, but like I love the idea that like this is that kind of game where it's like shooting the monster in the head is not the solution. It's like you gotta chop off all the limbs. I love that aspect. It's like you're automatically like shoot in the face, and that's in this game that doesn't really do anything. But I can't wait. I can't wait to go out with Isaac again and kill some necromorphs and just replay through that again.
I remember when that game was first getting previewed, and I was reading an article, I think in Electronic Gaming Monthly, about it, and they were talking about the UI in that game and how they wanted no UI, and basically like your health and ammo and all that stuff was going to be like on the character. Like it's just like it's part of you. You have that little Isaac's little backpack or I don't know what he's wearing back there.
Like
I guess it's just armor.
It's like
whatever,
a spine thing. I forget what it's connected to, but yeah, that's like your health bar.
Back bling, whatever. But like your health bar and everything is right there, and I thought that was so clever at the time, and that was something that I was hoping more people more immediately would take something like that and sort of run with it, where it's just like, the simpler you can make the UI, or if you can have no AI or UI, if you could figure out different ways to do it, I think that's so clever and a better game overall. Like if you can design it into the world. I know Ghost of Tsushima did a lot of that with like knowing where you need to go and stuff like that. And instead of having like, just like a mini map kind of situation, you could just use the wind.
Yeah, you follow the wind.
Things. Yeah. So it's like things like that I think are so clever. So that was something I remember just reading about it, probably 2006, 2007, and just being like, wow, that's amazing. And I don't feel like a lot of games took that concept and did a lot with it afterwards, which is a shame because I'm not a big fan of UIs. It's always just kind of blah if there's like too much crap on the screen.
Yeah, agreed. Well, now's a second chance, right? If this comes out and they keep to the original plan and just improve on it, now's a second chance for people to pick up on that again.
Oh yeah. And before we move on, I also want to say I really hope this game comes out and does incredible, and we get some more games like it to come out. Like I would love a full-on Silent Hill remake from Konami, or like somebody that Konami pays to do it. Like something like that would be, it'd be amazing. I would love to see something like that. And same thing with just EA owns a lot of properties. I don't have any off the top of my head that I can think of that would be amazing for a remake. I'd have to dig into the back catalog and think about those games. But I hope they can pull out some some other oldies but goodies to kind of kind of reach a new audience.
Yeah.
It's been a while now since we've had a good Dead Space.
Yeah, agreed. And I actually I felt the same way about the Silent Hill franchise, but then I realized like, oh wait, it's a Konami game, so they don't really care anymore about their franchises, which is a shame because Silent Hill, back in the day was right there with Resident Evil. It's like, which one did you play on your PlayStation? Because they were both really creepy and really good.
Oh yeah, SSX would be a good one, by the way, from EA, or for like a full on remake.
Yeah.
Or what was the other one? Just like a straight up, like I feel like they've been screwing around with Medal of Honor for way too long. Like, just
oh man,
give me like the first couple, like Medal of Honor Frontline, I think was the one back in like the PS2, GameCube,
Yeah.
Xbox, and man, that game was incredible back in the day. Like, give me Frontline again
I love
from the ground up. That'd be amazing.
Oh wait, that's not EA. Never mind. No.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree though.
Yeah. So speaking of games from the past, that's a good segue. I'm getting back into the hosting thing. Speaking of games from the past, I wanted to talk about a pretty interesting topic. I can't take credit for the question. It actually came from Twitter, and I wish I remembered the name of the person I saw this from. But somebody was asking on Twitter, what's a game from your childhood that you played a ton that no one ever talks about? And it's like, that's a very interesting question, because I feel like there's a lot of those games out there that people played as a kid that have just kind of been lost to time, or like just you have the classics that everybody talks about, the Zeldas, the Marios.
Sure.
You bring up something like Duck Hunt and people are like, oh yeah, I love Duck Hunt, blah blah blah. But there's so many games out there that I think were just rad back in the day that just I just don't think anybody gives them any credit, or it's just they've just kind of been lost time.
Yeah, I totally understand.
Yeah, and one that kind of comes to mind for me, and I'll kind of lump these into a little lump sum here, but there were some amazing beat 'em ups for the Super Nintendo, and I think some of these came to the Genesis as well. But based on some superhero licenses, like I know right before the show I was giving you the example, the Death and Return of Superman, which is obviously based on, like, at the time it might still be the best-selling comic book of all time, which is like from the Death of Superman.
Yeah.
And the game was so freaking good. It was such a good beat 'em up. Like, I feel like it holds up today. And then there's a couple other like beat 'em up games, like Maximum Carnage. Like,
oh yeah,
what a
the Spider-Man one. Yeah,
rad game. Yeah, dude, that game was so good back in the day. But I feel like nobody talks about Maximum Carnage, or there was another Spider-Man beat 'em up as well. I'm blanking on the name. But man, I loved Maximum Carnage. That game was freaking rad.
One. That was a very good one for Super Nintendo. I completely forgot about that one. Man.
See, I'm telling you, like, it's
right.
just games from the past that were like really, really good, but nobody talks about them. Nobody's just like, oh yeah, you remember those like amazing beat 'em up superhero games for the SNES? Like, nobody talks about them.
I feel like this one is definitely more well known, but I still don't think it's given enough credit, which is Battletoads, the original Battletoads.
Word.
I feel like it's
I do feel like it.
Everyone knows it, but I feel like it's very overlooked. Like,
Sure.
I don't think it gets the amount of credit it deserves. Like that first boss fight where it's like you see it from the perspective of the enemy, like in the ship, and you have to throw like rocks. Like that's on an NES, and that's really well done. And that's the first level, I think.
Yeah. The other one I was thinking of, the other Spider-Man game. Sorry to kind of just cut you off there. Separation Anxiety. The game is freaking rad.
I never heard of that
Which
one.
is so it's the sequel to Maximum Carnage. So you're still playing as like Spider-Man and Venom, and yeah, awesome game. But yeah, I mean, I do feel like Battletoads has had a resurgence as of late because of like the new Battletoads that came out, and I think everybody's
That was
sort
like
of been,
5 years ago, wasn't it?
No, right? No, it was like 2, 3, maybe.
No, was it?
I don't know. You have
I
to
just
look
feel
it
like
up.
I haven't heard the name in so long. Either way, though, like the original one, I think it's very overlooked. I don't think enough people talk about it.
For sure. So a series that I don't think these games are necessarily good, but they're super weird. Is all the Simpsons games. So the arcade Simpsons game, I'm not talking about. Like, that game's great. Everybody remembers that game.
Yeah.
But nobody talks about the Simpsons games for like consoles, like Bart's Nightmare.
I was just thinking that one. The Super Nintendo? Yeah.
What a freaking weird game that is. It's
that
like
is
you
a
just
bizarre, like, it, because there are just a ton of different, like, game, like, I don't want to call it game modes, but like the different worlds that you're playing in, they're all just completely different. Like, nothing's alike.
Yeah, it's so weird. It's like some you're playing as Bartman, you're like flying around shooting slingshots. There's another where you're a freaking dinosaur.
Yeah.
And you just run around like, you're just like a Bart Raptor or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
and then you have the one where you're like sliding down the tube trying to avoid fat kids and Homer and all sorts of stuff.
It's crazy how how it's just coming back to me, like you just saying all this, because I haven't played that game in probably 20 years.
Yeah, and I went back because that's the game specifically that popped into my head when I heard the question on Twitter. I was like, this is a game like any of these Simpsons games for the consoles, like the SNES. I just don't remember anybody ever talking about those games. Like, I played them, but
yeah,
and then people started replying to my my suggestion there, and it was just like, oh yeah, I mean, nobody talks about the game, but I played that when I was a kid, and it was hard as hell, and I never beat it. And I'm like, yeah, I never beat that game.
That was a blockbuster game for me, and I could not. Like, I think I rented it like 3 times. I'm like, I have no idea how you're supposed to win in this game. It's so freaking hard.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. What a crazy game. But if you go and look at like the game now, like the sprite work and stuff, it's actually like pretty darn good looking, especially in like the cutscenes. It's pretty impressive for the Super Nintendo. I gotta say the music is god awful, but the sprite work is pretty great. So if you have some time, just look up some gameplay from Bart's Nightmare, because it's pretty interesting to go back and kind of look at the cutscenes. Once you get into the gameplay, it gets a little funny looking, but the cutscenes were pretty rad looking.
Yeah, well, I might have to. I was thinking about. I know these games are loved, but they have been completely abandoned, and they probably will never get anything like it ever again, just because of the partnership. But like the old Disney Capcom relationship,
oh yeah,
just one after another, all really great games. Aladdin,
oh yeah,
Chip and Dale,
DuckTales, all that stuff.
But like, those are well known. But I just mean in general, just like that the Capcom Disney relationship was so great, and it's a shame that it'll probably never happen again. Especially because characters like what's his name, Darkwing Duck. People today probably don't know what Darkwing Duck is, but like that game is really good, and it's kind of like Mega Man, but it's a really good game. And another one that I thought of. This one's a little more recent, I use that term loosely, but like before the Arkham games, before Rocksteady had Batman, there's Batman Vengeance. You ever play that game?
Yeah, dude, for the GameCube?
Yeah.
Heck,
Batman Vengeance is a good game.
That game was solid back in the day. That's another one, like, I feel like nobody played that game.
Yeah.
But, man, it looked like the old Batman, the animated series, and like, I thought the cutscenes were pretty rad, and you could play the story they were telling.
You can play between like Batman and Nightwing, and then like the Tim Drake Robin, and I think Batgirl as well. I don't remember, but they all had like different stats. where
Yeah.
Batman was like super strong, but like Nightwing was the most agile. Like it was really
Yeah,
cool.
I loved Batman Vengeance. That was a cool game.
Yeah, like, you're right though. Like nobody, yeah, I don't know anybody that played that game.
Yeah, it's funny just kind of looking back on these types of games, and everybody kind of has a different answer for this too. And I asked Jerry, my partner, who for the people out there that don't know, and I was curious her answers to this, and she actually gave me two really good ones. One is Quack Shot for the Super Nintendo.
I never heard of
which
that.
is made by Sega. It's a Donald Duck game that I had never played
Wow.
or heard of, and it's weird. I mean, like Donald Duck, his sprite work looks great, and some of the other characters look really good, but like the music is garbage. The actual like backgrounds and stuff look so generic and bland. And all you do is you shoot these little, like, you're just walking forward and you're shooting plungers at people, and you don't kill anybody. It
So
just
weird.
stuns them, and you just simply walk past people. And there's all those people have like machine guns and stuff. It's just like, it's so,
That's a
what
bizarre sounding
bananas
game.
It's also the funniest thing about it, because I was looking at it the other day when she mentioned this game, was you have like an overworld map, and you can basically fly to like these different areas to kind of pick your level. So the first one is Duckburg. That's like level 1.
Okay.
Second level, Mexico. Third level, Transylvania.
That's awesome.
It's just like you have two completely like nonsense places, and then Mexico right in the middle.
That's awesome. I love that. That makes the game worth it.
It's so stupid. It's like, oh, where do you want to go from Duckburg? Mexico, and then Transylvania. The obvious choices.
Yeah, it's one that I just thought of, Bonk on the
Bonk.
TurboGrafx game. Like,
Yep.
the big-headed little like caveman guy. Like, it's just such a weird game, but like, a pretty solid platformer, and not too bad looking either.
Yeah, good old Bonk, man. I've heard some people talk about Bonk as of recently. Last one, and then we'll move on. This is another one from Jerry. She brought up Ski Free. Did you ever play that game?
Is that like the Windows 98 game?
Yeah.
Where you're just a little pixel man and there's a bear or a yeti attacks you?
Yeah.
Yep, I played. My mom had that on a floppy disk.
Yeah, dude. That was one of those things that somehow I missed it as a kid. I guess because I never really had a PC until I was like 18.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was one of those games, like, I looked it up after we were talking about it, and what a nonsense game. You just have this, like, you're just skiing down a hill, then a Yeti comes after you.
Yeah,
and...
I remember as a kid, I don't think you could, or at least for me, I never reached the finish line. If there ever was an ending,
there is none.
Okay, good.
It's...
Because I remember vividly. It was the first time I played it was at my mom's job, and it was like every like Christmas, like, they would allow like families to come in for like the day at her job, and I remember at her work computer, she had the floppy disk of that game, and I don't know if it was a coworker that was like, hey, you should play this, but I just remember playing it on her computer for like a solid like 15 to 20 minutes, and I was like, and I played one round for like 10ish minutes, and it just didn't end, and I'm like, there's got to be a way to win. And then I would get eaten. I'm like, how do you win at this? Like, there's no strategy. There's no nothing. But I guess you can't win.
Yeah, it's an endless loop. But yeah, what a funny little game. And I found an article from 2018 about it. That's on PC Gamer, called "Remembering Ski Free and the Yeti That Still Haunts Our Dreams." And it's like the whole story of this game, and it's pretty darn funny. It's a good read. It's by Brittany Vincent. If you get a chance to go online and try and find that little article on PC Gamer, it's a funny little read. But yeah, I just wanted to kind of pose that question and sort of rattle off some games, because it's always funny to kind of look back on games from your childhood that you played, but just nobody else did.
Yeah,
And,
I got
then
two others, by the way, real
all right.
fast.
Yeah, throw them on me.
So one, the Toomba series, which I brought that up before on here.
You and your Toomba.
Nobody I know, I've never met any other person who played a Toomba game outside of myself. That game is really fun. There's only two of them.
Start a fan page.
I might have to, man. Like the Toomba, like there's only 2 games, but they're both really fun and
Do
really
like a
wacky.
change.org petition.
Bring back Toomba.
Yeah,
I don't even think
Toomba 3.
The company that made it, I think it's called like Whoopee Camp. I mean, they're not even around anymore. Like they don't exist. I have no idea whatever happened to them. But man, that series nobody talks about, nobody knows it, but it exists and it's really good. It's really fun. And then the other one, I think, is a game that everybody recognizes, but I don't think anybody knows the name. It's the Arkanoid game. It was like an old arcade game where you're just controlling that little bar, and it's the ball that hits the blocks, and the little power-ups come down. Like, no, everybody, I think a lot of people would recognize it, but nobody knows the title of that game.
I feel like there's a few different versions of it too, because there's Breakaway, which is basically the same thing, and I actually played a version at school all the time called Javanoid, and it's basically that game. And I feel like everybody has a different name for that game.
Yeah, I don't know why. Like, there are so many. Like, for some reason, I only know about Arkanoid, and I just remember putting a lot of hours into that freaking game when I was younger. And I don't know if it was on the NES or the Super Nintendo. I think it was the NES. But man, I just remember like a solid weekend of just playing Arkanoid. And it was just like, now that I think about it, it's really just kind of a waste of time. It's not that exciting. It's very simple. Like, there's no story. Or I think there is.
It was fun in school.
Yeah, honestly. It was a good time waster, to be honest. There's really not much else to it. But yeah.
By the way, Tomba was published by Sony, so I bet they own the rights. So bring back Tomba.
Dude,
full-on remake, baby.
Yeah, do it, man. To hire the original dev team if they're still, I don't know what they're doing nowadays. I would love to interview like the project lead at Whoopee Camp and just be like, so what did you do after Toomba? Like, what have you been
look
up
him
to?
up. Let's see here. The guy or the director, Takuro Fujiwara.
All right, Takuro Fujiwara.
Sorry, I'm totally butchering that name. My apologies.
We'll look him up on like LinkedIn or something.
Yeah, look him up. Send him a message. You're like, bring back Toomba.
Like, I don't know what you have to do or what funding you need.
Yeah,
but you should remake Toomba.
Yeah. But anyways, we're running out of time. Before we go, though, obviously the Olympics are going on right now, so I have 3 Olympics kind of questions for you.
Nice.
For another round of You NintenDON'T Know Jack, and
nice.
the new listeners out there, this is we have a nice set of Mario quiz cards from 1995, and every single card in this box is a bunch of complete and utter nonsense. So every week that we actually record, I like to try and stump Hav with nonsense questions to see if he does or does not NintenDON'T Know Jack.
Let's do it.
So let's do it indeed. All right, here are your 3 Olympic themed questions from the category Arts, Sports, and Leisure. So question number 1, Hav, what is show jumping at a horse show? And your different answers here are a contest of obstacle jumping. Number 2 is a test of schooling. And number 3, a kind of riding called cabriole. What is show jumping at a horse show?
I don't even understand the last answer.
The last answer again is a kind of riding called cabriole.
Yeah, I don't know what that means.
The other answers again are a contest of obstacle jumping, or 2, a test of schooling.
Like you're gonna school this horse? Like I schooled you, horse.
Horse gets schooled.
Let's go with the first one. Obstacle jumping. That makes sense. Jumping.
Yeah, show jumping, contest of obstacle jumping. Let's see if you are correct. And you are correct.
Yeah.
Woo! So, show jumping, a contest in which a horse and rider jump over obstacles, was made a part of the Olympic Games in 1912. It requires harmony between rider and horse.
That's beautiful.
And on the front here, we have this little horse jumping, and Mario and Peach are watching. Looks like a good time. And on the back, we have this this guy on a horse jumping
nice.
a fence or, well, you know, whatever you want to call that little thing. I guess
An
a
obstacle.
fence. Yeah.
Very nice.
All right. First question down. Let's see if I can stump you with these other two. I'm gonna give you this one first. Hav, who invented the game of basketball? Was it Abner Doubleday, Marvin Hoopster, or James Naismith?
I like Hoopster. I really like that name. But it's
I hope it's him.
I'm pretty sure it's Naismith.
James Naismith, you say. Let's give it a shot. Let's see. And he goes for the three-pointer, and he's correct.
Yeah.
James Naismith invented basketball in 1891 in Springfield, Massachusetts. A young man named James A. Naismith came up with the idea for the most popular indoor sport in the U.S. So there you go.
Nice.
And on the front here, we got Mario popping threes.
Nice. From
and,
downtown.
you know, from downtown, and Toad just, you know, being a short little man, he can't do anything to stop this.
He's just cheering him on, really. You go,
And
Mario.
And on the back, we just got some fools dunking on each other.
It's a perfect opportunity for them to put Michael Jordan in. They don't?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know who this is on the back.
I can't tell.
Okay, 2 for 2. Let's see if I can stump you with this last one. I think I have a good feeling on this one. I feel like I'm going to get you.
All right.
So, Hav, what are the 3 kinds of weightlifting moves? Your first answer is the snatch, discus, and pommel. Second choice is the snatch, vault, and hammerlock. And the third choice is the snatch, clean and jerk, and military press. Need me to say those again?
Nope. It's the third one. I know it's the third one.
Oh, snap.
Yep.
All right.
It's
Let's see if-
I forget what the second one was, but yeah, it's snatch, press, and then some sort of jerk. I forget what it's
Clean and
called.
jerk. All
That's
right,
what
let's
it
give
is.
it a shot. Let's see. Dang! That man is right. Oh,
You know why I know
snap.
that? Is because I recently joined an exercise class, and I learned about those names, and I thought they were really dumb and funny. Because like when they told me you have to do a snatch clean jerk, I'm like, what did you just say to me? Like a what?
Would you call me a jerk?
Yeah,
A clean jerk?
a clean jerk. What about snatches?
Yeah, so in weightlifting, athletes lift heavy bars overhead using one of the moves allowed, the snatch, clean and jerk, or military press. Competition lasts until only one person can lift the heaviest bar. And on the front here, we have Mario really just struggling with this.
Is he like lying down?
I don't know. It looks like he's sitting in a chair. Right? I guess that's supposed to be a weight bench, maybe.
Maybe
But
I can't tell.
Where's the bar overhead? It's
Yeah, it looks dangerous, Mario.
And on the back here, I like this guy. He looks so happy to be lifting this this bar.
That's the clean jerk right there. That's what that is.
I guess so.
No,
Wow.
I honestly don't know.
I'm honestly surprised. I thought I'd get you at that one, but
Yeah, it's
Man.
only thanks to the exercise class that I joined. I still don't know the
Alright.
movements by heart, but I've heard the names before.
all right. Well, I mean, I guess you're ready for the Olympics, dude, because you
much.
answered all my Olympic questions
Yeah,
from the
I
Mario
ba-
quiz cards.
I basically know everything about the Olympics now, so
All right. Well, thank you so much, everybody, for joining us this week. Yeah, this was a good one. I had a lot of fun. Remember, you can you can find us at youtube.com/multiplayer. You can check us out on podcast services of your choice. We're all over the place there. You can check us out over on Instagram, where we need to post more, Hav. gosh dang it, we need to post more over there. But you and me, it's on both of us. We both suck.
I'm really bad.
We need to get better.
Media.
I swear. Well, we'll get it one day, guys. But yeah, check us out over there at Go Multiplayer, where I promise I'm going to try and post some more stuff. And Hop, where can we find you? In the closet.
Yeah, in the closet at Loverboy_Hop. I'm actually going to take a picture of myself right now in the closet, and I'll post it on Instagram.
Fantastic. And I'm at Zach Matzganis, at ZACKMATZGANIS. And of course, you can find us over at Patreon at patreon.com/multiplayer, where if you enjoy us doing all of this fun stuff, okay, you got me in that. Sorry, guys, I had to pose for that picture. If you're like on the,
I got you in it.
Nice. Yeah, if you enjoy what we do, check us out over on Patreon, because $1 or $2 a month, that really goes a long way to helping to support the show and us just doing what we love doing, which is kind of hanging out, talking about video games, and trying to build a fun community of people to talk about games with. So check us out over there, please. And, tell your friends, your cat, your grandma about the show as well. That really helps us out to kind of build our audience. We're getting very close now to episode 100, and I would love to do something big and special for that. But gosh dang it, we need an audience. I know, this is episode 90. Crazy. But
I am the audience.
If you really like the show and other people that would like the show, please let them know about it. It'd be a huge help to us. And remember, these episodes go live every Wednesday. I need to try and remember to do that at the top of the show. I always forget. Every week I forget. But thank you so much, everybody, for joining us this week. We missed you, and we hope to see you again next week. Thank you so much, and remember,
we love you, and you should love you too.
We love all your beautiful faces. Thank you so much. See you next week. Peace. We here at Multiplayer would like to give a huge special thank you to Kevin Hopkins, William Euchre, and the rest of our amazing Patreon community. If you'd like to support our podcast and get a shout out at the end of each show, be sure to check out our Patreon at patreon.com/multiplayer. See you next time, players. We love ya!